I'm going to ask you a question that I give an answer all the time to. I'd love to get your perspective. How would you describe the competency of the probate attorneys as a population as a whole? What percentage you would say are competent? What percentage you say is not competent? How would you describe that? You are on the internet.
Right. I'm like, why are you doing this?
I'll tell you why, because I work two things. I'll tell you why beyond it. 100% honest, because you and I are colleagues, and I appreciate being here. And for all the money I'm paying you, I have the right. I don't have the right not to. One I would say is I aspire to work with the top 10% who are really, really good,
right?
And they're distinctly different. And I'd say the bottom 90% of that group, some know that they don't know what they're doing, and they need me to help them. And the other 90% don't know they need me to help them, and they're just a nightmare to work with, and I'd rather not work with them anyhow. So to be honest, I don't mind saying that just like in our business, I think the top 10% are really good, the bottom 9% are terrible. And if you know you're terrible and you need help, I'm here to help you. If you don't know it, whatever, they're not watching things to improve. Now,
I completely agree. I'm in
that won't get you in trouble.
Yeah.
You might want to stop there.
I'm in a place in my business that I want to work with. Before, when I started, I was desperate.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take anything. Now I want to work with attorneys that I know are successful in the business, because I see their name very often. I look at their website, I see what they're doing, and I'm able to, now people reach out to me for estate planning. Clearly, I'm not an attorney, so I'm able to refer. Nice. I just referred an attorney from San Francisco that I've been wanting to work with for years because he's so big, a case in which he's making over 100K.
Wow.
And he was like, wow. And I said, I want to provide to you. And I think that you are knowledgeable. Clearly, you have so many cases. I see what you're doing. I want to work with you. And credibility, right? And he's like, that's amazing. Like, thank you for referring to me. So it's not always about me, and me getting the business. It's about referring also clients to people that know what they're doing. I've had attorneys that come to me on the low and says, or will ask me, what's a notice of proposed action? Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't say anything, but I'm thinking, geez, out-of-state attorneys that are practicing in California, I've seen that too. And things that I'm like, wow. Actually, one of my clients, he had a stroke. He had a home in San Francisco. The attorney filed the case in San Francisco. And I'm like, didn't your wife die in Santa Clara? And he says, yeah. So he called the attorney. He said, you've had my case for 2 years. Did you file in the wrong county? And the attorney's like, oh, my bad. So Mike ended up letting him go and hired someone locally. And not only that, Bill, a real estate agent had his house key and was waiting for probate to end, never had a listing agreement, and came, and I'm like, how do you give someone your house key? So I feel like the real estate agent and the attorney were not being efficient in dealing with a person who had a stroke. He couldn't even walk. So I was able to, I called the agent and I said, hey, I need the key back. And he's like, who are you? That's my client. I'm like, you never signed a listing with him. I'm surprised that you took his house key, and asked him for the code for his safe. All these random things that are happening to the population. This is why I became a senior specialist, so I can know more how to talk to people that are older. But people are doing things, not only attorneys, agents, that are really not appropriate. Yeah. And this is why people don't trust us sometimes. So I think in that situation, the attorney didn't know what he was doing. The agent clearly didn't know, and the agent was waiting for this probate to end. And he never took the time to even check in to see where Mike was at in the probate process. So once I took over, we got it going. Within 6 months, I sold the property in San Francisco.
The A team took over.
Right.
That's what I tell people. It's time to work with the A team. You work with the B team. That's what it looks like. Right. And to be honest, Miriam, I don't think that's that uncommon. I don't know, maybe you don't see it, or maybe things are better in Santa Clara than LA, but the filing in the wrong county, wrong forms, wrong process, not clearing notes, just fundamental, not giving notices to other parties, just fundamental mistakes, basics I see it all the time. And attorneys who come in fancy suits and work for good firms, and it's just shocking. And yet, then you see the guy who is the pro or gal or lady, and they know their stuff, and they know the judges. Everybody knows them. Things move. The judge gives them exceptions. Different story. And that's who you want
Right.
to work with and who you want to grow up and be like.